New York Attorney General Letitia James pleads not guilty to federal bank fraud charges. New York Attorney General Letitia James, a Democrat and prominent political adversary of President Donald Trump, appeared in a federal courthouse in Norfolk, Virginia, today for her arraignment on bank fraud and false statement charges. She pleaded not guilty to all counts and was released from custody. The case has ignited a national debate, as the charges were brought by the Justice Department after months of public pressure from the Trump administration, leading James and her allies to label the prosecution as an act of political retribution. The charges and alleged misrepresentation. The core of the federal indictment centers on a real estate transaction involving a modest house James purchased in Norfolk, Virginia, in 2020 for $137,000. The indictments claim the federal grand jury indictment accuses James of bank fraud and making a false statement to a financial institution. Specifically, it alleges that when James applied for a $109,600 mortgage, she signed a document as second homewriter stating that the property would be used as a secondary residence for her personal use and enjoyment for at least 1 year. The alleged fraud. The indictment claims James immediately used the property as an investment property by renting it out to a family member. By misrepresenting the intended occupancy, prosecutors allege she obtained more favorable loan terms, including a lower interest rate, than she would have qualified for with an investment property loan. The government claims this misrepresentation saved her an estimated $18,933 over the life of the loan. James's defense and political context. Attorney General James and her legal team, led by defense attorney Abbe Lowell, have flatly denied the charges and aggressively challenged the motivation behind the prosecution. Claims of political weaponization. James's statement. Following the indictment earlier this month, James issued a forceful public video statement, calling the charges baseless and declaring them nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. The Trump connection. James is known as a staunch foe of the former president. Her office successfully pursued a massive civil business fraud lawsuit against Donald Trump and the Trump Organization for inflating asset values, resulting in a significant judgment. The current federal investigation and indictment intensified only after President Trump publicly called for the Justice Department to prosecute James and other political adversaries. Prosecutorial conflict. Reports indicate that the charges were pursued by an interim U.S. attorney, Lindsay Halligan, who was appointed by President Trump, over the objections of career prosecutors who reportedly believed there was insufficient evidence to prove the necessary criminal intent beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense's technical arguments. No material gain. James's defense team contends that while a form error may have occurred, James never misled the lender and did not materially benefit from the loan. They argue that she bought the home to help a relative, her great-niece, and that any money collected was minimal, largely covering utilities, which she properly disclosed on her tax returns. Motion to dismiss. James's lawyers have indicated they will soon file a motion to dismiss the indictment entirely, arguing that the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney who brought the charges was unlawfully named to her position, which would invalidate the entire case. Outlook and next steps. The arraignment marks the formal start of a high-profile legal battle that fuses complex financial law with intense political animosity. James remains the New York Attorney General, continuing her duties while facing the federal charges. Her legal team has expressed an intention to push for a swift trial, with her lawyer suggesting a trial date in late January or February 2026. The upcoming motion to dismiss will be the first major legal hurdle, setting the tone for a case that is widely viewed through the lens of political retaliation.